Steve from the Redneck Garage. Well, as we're moving forward, I got to do the lift kit in the back so I can get the gas tank on so I can run the fuel lines and the brake lines. However, first thing I got to do is put on the body lift before I can start raising up the frame, because I'm afraid the cab would just slide off. This is a RC607 made by Rough Country. I love it because it's got urethane bushings rather than, you know, like the old hockey puck style. So this gives you a lot more cushion. So this is what we're going to be installing. I'm hoping that it goes easily because there is nothing on the truck. Everything's off. Should be just a matter of bolting it up, putting some anti-seize on it, be ready to go. So let's get started. All right, here's the RC607 body lift kit, and the reason I purchased it, like we talked about before, was because it's urethane rather than just putting a hockey puck on old worn out things. This is just a one-stop, put this on and you're done as far as like all your body mount kits. It's got all the hardware with it. Yeah, I'm thrilled about this. I've got it sitting on blocks, but you can tell that I'm about that far off, so I'm gonna have to jack the body up a little bit and see if I can move the frame back just a hair. That might have been a good idea to do before I did anything else. All right, I was able to take my farm jack, which is really the most dangerous jack known to man, and lift up the back just a little bit and just kind of shove it forward. And it looked like I'm about in the right spot, so I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to put the rear two in and then kind of work forward, and I'll probably have to adjust back and forth just a little bit. You can see how these are dangerous. I was trying to show you how these will start flipping on you if you're not careful. If you don't have a good grip on this, they'll start going back and forth. Now, I don't have much weight on it, so it's not that big a deal, but you got to be really careful with these jacks. All right, so as the sun's starting to go down today, I think I'm about to call it a night. I didn't anticipate that the cab would be that far off, like forwards, backwards, and side to side, so I'm putting in one at a time and kind of adjusting the cab. It's still sitting on wood in the front, so I'm able to slide it a little bit. I can jack it up in the back and move it a little bit, and then it'll actually slide back and forth on the front wood blocks, and I'm about to take those out once I get enough of the body mounts in, and it should slide pretty well on top of those just to shift it around to get it straightened up. But I've been jerking and snatching and pulling on this thing to get it to line up, and that hadn't been that fun. All right, it's been raining all morning, and I thought I'd just kind of give you an update of where I'm at with the Jeep. It's supposed to snow this weekend, so I'm thrilled about that. So let's take a look at where we're at on the body lift. I've been using my farm jack quite a bit just to kind of bump it up a little bit to get the wood blocks and the other pieces out. I've got them kind of started in the rear. You can kind of see right there, I've got one of the mounts there. I got it close enough there, but it's still too far forwards on the center one, so I got to figure a way to pull that back, and it's being a total pain in my butt. You can see I'm getting pretty close on this side, but it is just a little bit far forward, and I don't mean much, but just a little bit far forward because these are both cranked forward just a little bit. Once I get this side on, the other side's going to be a lot easier because it should be pretty well lined up, but these are being a huge pain. So I went redneck down and dirty. I took my farm jack and just an old nylon pull strap, hooked it on the bottom of the tub and then around the roll bar there. Hope I didn't damage my Rampage covers. I put a little bit of tension on it, and it seems to have pulled it back in line where it needs to be to tighten it up, or pretty close. I may need to go one more click, see if it'll pull back just a hair. Well, sometimes you just give freaking up, and I pulled out my porta power and I was able to push on this back mount, which is bolted in, which actually pushed the whole frame forward just a little bit. So a lot of times a porta power is invaluable for lining stuff up or pushing something that's pretty heavy. All that other stuff just was a waste of time. Amazing that I would waste time! But this is starting to line up really nice. It should bolt on down. The front one's almost lined up. It's just a little bit, I think on the other side there's still a block underneath and it's not allowing it to come down all the way. So I'm going to probably just get a bigger bolt, run up in it, tighten it down a little bit, and then put the other side in and then replace the bolts. You forget if you're taking off all sides, if it's just sitting on the frame rather than, you know, lined up. That's why it's important not to take both sides off when you're doing a body lift. You can see on the lift kit that I've got this backwards. I need to flip this side around. I already did the other side. And then the two back ones are backwards also. Not the uppers, but the lowers. So we'll be flipping these around, and then I'll be working on getting the back springs and all that garbage put on. You can kind of see how much lower the back end is than the front end, and I'm on a kind of a grade. So as you're looking downhill, the front's way up and the back is like on the ground because there's no springs in it. So it's going to be interesting to see how high this thing goes up with the springs and everything else put on it. Alright, I went and bought a little bit longer bolts just to get this on and pulled down. See if we can get this side about lined up before we loosen her down and tighten the bolts a little bit before we do the other side. But this has been kind of a pain to get it lined up. Alright, so when I started tightening it down, these finally dropped in where they're supposed to. I'm going to crank this one down, and we'll see what happens with that with my Milwaukee Impact. This thing's a beast. Okay, now I'm going to replace this one with a short bolt again and see if I can get it in, because it's about right where it needs to be. I just had this in to line it up. Alright, so we got one side on. Hopefully the other side will line up just like it's supposed to, and that'll be awesome. And if the other side is correct, all we're going to have to do is jack it up a little bit, slide your mounts in, set our washers and our bolts, and just tighten it down, and we should be good to go. And then we can start working on the front end. Okay, so we got everything on the driver's side buttoned down pretty much. I've got two center mounts above the gas tank that's got to go in. However, we're going to work on the other side next. I didn't really foresee that it was going to be as much of a pain in the butt. Didn't consider that the tub was just sitting on there and we never had lined it up. So I was able to get it lined up, get the bolts in, and hopefully the passenger side will go really quick. And then I can start putting the grill on, the radiator, the condenser, all that stuff like that in the front. And that's super exciting. It'll really look like a vehicle then. So keep watching. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.